Cruise ship crews deal with thousands of passengers a week. The biggest ships now carry up to 7,600 guests, plus more than 2,000 crew, a floating city of nearly 10,000 people. Most are lovely. And then there are these people. 25 real complaints that prove you cannot please everyone, with a running body count of common sense left on the dock. Number 25 tried to file a noise complaint against the ocean. It gets worse. At number 24, a guest demanded a full refund because the ship's infinity pool was not actually infinite. They expected an endless watery abyss, completely ignoring the basic physics of an architectural spillway designed to recirculate overflow water. At number 23, some passengers look out at midnight, realize the open ocean is pitch black, and demand the crew install hull-mounted floodlights so they can see what is swimming near the keel. They ignore that blinding spotlights violate international maritime navigation laws and destroy the bridge team's night vision. At number 22, a traveler complained that the stars were too bright and demanded the captain steer the ship to a cloudier patch of ocean. You cannot bill the sky. At number 21, another passenger complained that the salt air was offensive, requesting that crew members spray air freshener along the exterior walkways and place scented candles near the wind-whipped railings. At number 20, a guest in a balcony suite complained about the smell of engine exhaust, demanding that the ship redirect its exhaust fumes away from their balcony. They expected engineers to somehow bend the laws of physics and reroute emissions from a towering funnel designed to vent safely into the atmosphere. At number 19, a passenger complained that their cabin door slammed too hard, demanding softer hydraulics. They ignored the fact that international maritime safety laws require self-closing fire doors to shut at a strict rate for rapid smoke containment. At number 18, a traveler booked a cheaper, obstructed view cabin, then demanded the crew actually relocate a multi-ton lifeboat because it blocked their window. The word obstructed was clearly printed in their booking category, confirmation email, and the deck plan. Yet they still expected the crew to dismantle vital emergency survival gear just to improve their morning view. Common sense, it seems, was left behind on the dock. At number 17, a man argued that a public hot tub should instantly become his private reserve the moment his feet touched the water, demanding 30-minute exclusive booking slots. On a mega ship designed for up to 7,600 passengers, he expected a floating city to coordinate its amenities around his personal soak. At number 16, a solo traveler complained that children laughing near the pool invaded her creative writing space, demanding the crew force the family to either shut up or relocate. At number 15, a guest demanded a ship-wide 7 p.m. bedtime, insisting all music, lounge acts, and theatrical entertainment stop entirely so he could nap in total peace. These passengers booked tickets on a massive shared resort, but genuinely expected the absolute authority of a feudal lord. At number 14, some vacationers trade their swimsuits for forensic audit kits. Yes, some people actually bring a ruler on vacation. One passenger brought a tape measure into his cabin, measured the shower stall in 3 dimensions, and submitted an engineering diagram to guest services because it failed to meet his residential standards. Standard ship showers are 30 by 30 inches by design to save space, but he expected a master bath on a moving vessel. Another guest stood at the buffet carving station and demanded a slice of roast beef exactly 3/4 of an inch thick. When the chef sliced it, the passenger pulled out a phone ruler app, rejected 2 cuts for being slightly off, and held up a line of 14 hungry people. Then there was the man who measured his cabin closet, calculated it was 14% smaller than the deck plan diagram, and demanded a 14% refund. At 2 a.m. in the morning, in the middle of the ocean, a passenger ordered a medium rare steak via room service. Operating several decks below, the galley crew prepped, cooked, and delivered the order to her cabin door in exactly 18 minutes, an operational miracle at sea. Instead of celebrating this speed, the guest immediately changed her mind, rejected the steak, and demanded a plate of pasta with 0 wait time. Apparently, she expected the chefs to bend the space-time continuum. Up at the buffet, another traveler decided to bypass the first-come, first-served policy entirely. They brought a custom, laminated reserved sign from home, taped it across 6 prime tables, and defended this fake reservation as if it carried international legal force when staff removed it. They expected to annex public dining space on a ship carrying thousands of people. Once again, common sense was left on the dock. Modern mega ships are engineering triumphs, especially when it comes to self-sufficiency. Take water production. Royal Caribbean vessels produce up to 90% of their fresh water on board using advanced reverse osmosis membranes and steam evaporation. The resulting tap water is perfectly safe to drink and exceeds public health standards. Yet one horrified guest demanded bottled water for showering, brushing teeth, and flushing. Yes, he literally wanted bottled water in the toilet. Then there was the passenger outraged by a 2 megabits per second internet speed test. They actually printed out the physical results to protest a vacation photo taking 10 seconds to load instead of 3, entirely forgetting that their signal was bouncing off a satellite in orbit to a moving vessel far from any land infrastructure. But the ultimate refusal to adapt came from the traveler who declared, "I do not speak military time." They demanded that every 24-hour clock and printed daily schedule on board be converted to a 12-hour format. On a massive vessel where 24-hour time is a strict maritime safety standard used to coordinate complex ship operations across changing time zones, they genuinely expected a crew of thousands to rewrite their entire operational system, because reading 1400 was simply too exhausting. Some passengers treat Mother Nature as a poorly managed department of guest services. During a port stop in Nassau, a seagull swooped down and collided with a father's bald head. The outraged family filed a formal complaint, demanding the ship install overhead netting and hire a dedicated bird patrol crew member to police the local airspace. They had to be politely informed that the gull was not on the payroll. Meanwhile, another couple actually submitted an itemized invoice to guest services for exactly $47.30 to compensate for pool time lost during a brief tropical shower. But you cannot bill the sky. Sometimes the biggest villain on a cruise is self-sabotage. Take the passenger who drank free champagne at an art auction, bought a $4,000 painting, and then demanded a refund because the complimentary alcohol and persuasive salesmanship clouded their judgment. Or the couple who removed all automatic gratuities and then filed a complaint because their cabin steward seemed cold and distant. They actually expected warm, personalized service after stripping away the crew's livelihood. And finally, the passenger who lost $800 on a slot machine over 6 hours declared it rigged and demanded guest services give the money back. At number 2, a passenger formally requested the captain slow down the entire ship because she was not finished reading her book. On a massive 200,000-ton vessel keeping a strict multi-port itinerary, she genuinely expected maritime operations to halt for her personal reading schedule. But the captain does not adjust speed for your plot twist. And topping the list at number 1, a traveler demanded a full refund because the ship had stairs. She refused to use the elevators, refused to walk down the staircases, and spent 3 days trapped in her cabin. On a 20-deck floating resort, she declared war on maritime architecture and egress design at once. When you pack 10,000 people onto a single vessel, you realize that common sense was left on the dock, and some people simply should not travel unsupervised. Have you ever witnessed a complaint this ridiculous in person? Subscribe for more. On a ship of 10,000, some will always leave their common sense on the dock. Clearly, some people should not travel unsupervised. Have you ever witnessed a complaint this ridiculous in person? Subscribe for more stories.